Coalition Fund for countries committed to protecting forests and reducing deforestation.
MP for Medina Francis Xavier Sosu, formally charged with unlawful road blockage and destruction of public property, to appear in court on November 8.
Parliament unhappy about recent hike in cement prices. Two select committees charged to provide recommendations to stabilize prices.
Increased cases of power theft at Tema hampering activities of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG.
And a UN report describes war in Ethiopia as one marked with brutality.
Good evening, welcome to News Hour right here on GBC News and on GTV. My name is Jonathan Thompson.
My name is Mila Korti.
Robert Frimpong-Manso brings us the sign language. Now to our first story. On Wednesday at COP26, Ghana successfully sailed through to access part of the $1 billion sought by Leave Coalition for countries committed to increase ambition to protect forests and reduce deforestation.
At the table, Ghana and 4 other countries were selected out of over 30 proposals presented. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapor, initialized the letter of intent in Glasgow, Scotland. Clara Mlalo reports.
With the world said to have lost more than 10 million hectares of primary tropical forest cover in 2020, there is an urgent need to protect the remaining tropical forests and rein in the ensuing threats, all in a bid to protect man and nature. This year, the lowering emissions by accelerating forest finance, Leave Coalition mobilized $1 billion to help to stop deforestation by financing large-scale tropical forest protection. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapor, said the government of Ghana is prepared to work with the coalition to invest to reduce deforestation, aggressive afforestation, and sustainable rural development. The minister was grateful to the UN member states, especially to the UK, US, and Norway, for solidarizing to launch such an important initiative. In the cocoa sector, Cocoa Board says it has rolled out several interventions to protect the cocoa sector from extinction.
With all that we've been doing, the realization has come in strong that cocoa agroforestry is the way to go. Farmers have recognized and have understood that to plant every hectare or to replant every hectare of cocoa land, you need to replace it. You need to plant at least 18 trees. Even now, we recognize that from our rounds that even the 18 trees, we need to do more.
Every single day, we are spending $1 billion plus on subsidies for fossil fuels. That's you guys, in your name, $1 billion a day. So when you think about how much money is going into CFI, and yet somebody is subsidizing the process of allowing pollution, in fact encouraging pollution, through $1 billion a day, I think that's a sobering thought about how far we've got to go.
Leave Coalition's financial drive is touted as one of the biggest ever public-private partnerships to protect tropical forests. Ghana has registered under the art trees and through the signing generate art credits to comply with the Leave and participate in carbon markets. Team Ghana was backed by the UNDP Ghana, FAO and UNEP. For GBC News, Clara Mlano reporting.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is upbeat that Ghana will reap the full benefits of its digital economy if there is a strong regulatory framework, investment in innovations, and strong collaboration between players to share ideas and information for a robust digital economy ecosystem. At the Standard Chartered Digital Banking Innovation and FinTech Festival, Dr. Bawumia said government has adopted the digital economy because it is the vehicle to accelerate Ghana's economic growth.
The world in the past 10 years has seen an explosion in the use of fintech by both traditional financial companies and startups. Examples of fintech's remarkable change in the financial landscape is evident in the development of money transfer services, both domestic and international, payment apps, banking apps and investment apps. These has resulted in a reduction in visit to banking halls. By bringing together industry players, regulators, fintech companies, technology and financial consultants, Standard Chartered Bank is putting the spotlight on the role that fintech can play in a more digitalized world. The Chief Executive of Standard Chartered Bank, Mrs. Mansanetti, said the Digital Banking, Innovation and FinTech Festival will offer opportunity to startups and Ghanaians.
Ultimately, we hope this festival will facilitate the cross-border pollination of ideas and experiences to enhance the impact of our innovative solutions and promote business.
The Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, said a solid regulatory framework has been laid for this rapidly growing industry and a fintech system that will help deal with any cyber threat as the country expands to enhance and automate financial systems and processes.
As regulators, the bank will continue to modernize the supportive regulatory frameworks to enhance security and promote confidence and trust in the ecosystem.
The Minister for Finance, Mr. Ken Fuyata, said digital technology is the way to go, even in domestic mobilization.
Our tax revenue to GDP is somewhere around 4%, 14%. The EU's is about 34%. So if you look at GRA's collections of, let's say, 60 billion, you can imagine tripling that will bring us to 180 billion, which will certainly solve a lot of our problems.
Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia challenged the Bank of Ghana to introduce policies to strengthen the digital economy ecosystem.
A strong regulatory framework will continue to be essential. Second, investments in innovation is crucial. Third and finally, collaboration will cement the ecosystem further. The digital economy thrives on information and collaboration.
Dr. Bawumia believes with an effective collaboration between players, Ghana will be on course to become digital hub in the sub-region.
Ghana is on a journey to digitization. Maximum support is being put into building a new system to drive this transformation agenda through digitalization. At the podium at Ashesi University at Brekusu in Greater Accra to tell Ghana's story on transforming an economy through digitization, Vice President Dr. Bawumia said the soft building blocks have been laid through the various digitization infrastructures to promote efficiency, effectiveness, reduce corruption, broaden the tax base, among others, to transform Ghana's economy.
In the past 5 years, the Akufo-Addo-led government has made good progress in its digital transformation agenda, and the government is on a drive to build the soft infrastructure to address and transform the informal nature of the Ghanaian. It has introduced a number of policies by leveraging on the existing technologies to achieve this goal. These include the paperless port, mobile money interoperability, issuing of national biometric ID cards, Ghana Post Addressing System, Ghana.gov platform, digitization of drivers and vehicle licensing authority, the National Health Insurance Scheme, online passport application, the GHQR code, among others. These, says the Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is what will make Ghana a competitive global player.
The new system is the engine block of our development. We are building this new system because it has the following attributes. It positions us to be globally competitive in the emerging digital revolution. It is a system based on integrated centralized data, and a system that codifies the unique identification of every member of our society, the addresses of all properties and locations. It is inclusive, It's a system that makes for greater transparency, promotes accountability and efficiency in every aspect of public interaction. It is a system that minimizes incentives to pay bribes and opportunities for corruption in the delivery of public services. It is a system where the operations of government institutions are digitized for efficient delivery. It is a system that is formalizing the informal sector, a system that has broadened the tax base, a system which enables the workings of an effective credit reference bureau, and a system which facilitates equitable access by all Ghanaians to healthcare and education.
The current global economy is ruled by digitization, and Ghana cannot afford to lose out.
The digital revolution is a youth-driven revolution. It is your revolution. And I look forward to all of you playing a role in making our nation great and strong.
The Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Baki, says he has noted with concern the recent attempt by the Ghana Police Service to arrest a Member of Parliament for Medina, Mr. Francis Xavier Sosu, in a manner that offends not just the letter, but the spirit of the 1992 Constitution. In a 5-page statement, the Speaker says he has also taken note of the statements and posture of the police service, including the interdiction of Inspector Daniel Agbafo, the police officer providing personal protection to the Medina MP. The statement says the privileges and immunities of Parliament, the Speaker, the Clerk and MPs exist to guarantee the independence of the House and ensure that the legislature is able to undertake its constitutional duties without unnecessary constraints, and that the recent events should not be understood as an attack on a single member of Parliament, but an attack on Parliament as an institution. The statement says the Speaker considers the recent happenings as an attempt by some persons in the security services to change the nature of parliamentary business and cow the members of Parliament and the entire House into subservience. It goes on that while the immunities and privileges of members of Parliament are not absolute, the process of causing the arrest of a sitting MP or processing him for court must be in accordance with the Constitution. The Speaker, according to the statement, assured the people of Ghana that he takes seriously the oath he swore on the 7th of January 2021 by his solemn pledge to faithfully and conscientiously discharge his duties as the elected Speaker for all, as well as to uphold, preserve.
The time we should be removing taxes. I have never heard it anywhere in the world. The clinker that was brought in should be fumigated. Therefore, you are taxing clinker. The importation of clinker being fumigated. I've never heard it anywhere. Very soon, even the sand will be fumigated. But housing in Ghana is becoming too expensive because of the prices. And that's what I'm saying. Government of Ghana's policy is introducing a lot of inefficiencies. So they should look at the taxes all over again and where possible remove some of them, particularly for cement. I humbly submit that rather external factors such as charges of freight, the price of clinker globally have rather contributed significantly to such prices as we have at the producer point. The law even goes ahead to say that before the cement manufacturers would increase their prices, they need to sit down with the Ministry of Trade and discuss. Have they discussed in this recent skyrocketing nature? I don't know. So I want to also use this opportunity to inform the Minister of Trade to ensure that they are using every fair means to get these manufacturers to sit down with them and agree to some of these increases, because sometimes we find it a bit too high. And I must agree that it is a bit too high.
Now, away from Parliament, persons with disabilities will now enjoy an appreciable level of social inclusion, especially in the area of media reportage. This will be engineered by a project dubbed Media Capacity Building Initiative for Reporting on Disability. The drive, which has been championed by Yali TV in collaboration with the U.S. Embassy in Ghana, will focus on training and empowering of journalists to efficiently report on issues relating to persons with disability. The project has been launched in Accra.
Over the past few decades, media reportage on activities of persons with disability has not met the desired expectations due to competing space by other events and subjects, and in some instances, expertise to report on the subject matter. Yali TV's Media Capacity Building Initiative for Reporting on Disability, MacBird, has therefore come in handy since it will help educate and create awareness by training journalists to effectively report on persons with disability. About 30 journalists across the 16 regions of the country are to benefit from the 2-day residential training. Eventually, the trainees will be awarded for their comprehensive reportage on disability. The General Manager of Yali TV, Mr. Stephen Selassie, explained the relevance of MacBird.
Journalists have the power to bring that change. But we as a young or fledgling platform could not do it by ourselves. So the best way was to reach out to other bigger institutions, media outlets who are already making impacts in the media space, who have existed, have the structures and the systems. So that we could share this vision and mandate together of throwing light on the attainments of people with disability, their achievements, their difficulties, the challenges they face, and how we could help them using the abilities or the technique of solutions journalism.
The U.S. Embassy in Ghana pledged its unwavering support to Yali TV.
The law guarantees equal opportunities for individuals with disabilities. We know that democracies and dynamic economies need everybody's full participation to truly succeed.
The president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Mr. Roland Afelmoni, was optimistic that the training and capacity building will expand the horizon of journalists.
As media practitioners, ours is to use the power we wield and the influence we peddle to better the lot of people with disability.
The GJA president commended Yali TV and the U.S. Embassy in Ghana for the initiative. Application for MacBird, which started on 20th October, will end on November 12, 2021. Journalists who wish to participate in the training can visit the website on www.yalitvonline.com/MacBird.
When the Embassy of Zimbabwe in Ghana marked the Zimbabwe Anti-Sanctions Day in Accra, the ambassador, Mr. Kufa Chinoza, called for solidarity and the support of Ghanaians for the West to lift the targeted sanctions on Zimbabwe. The sanctions were imposed on the country 21 years ago by the West for what it said were human rights abuses, election rigging, and taking back lands from the British, which they say has stalled economic growth. The sanctions have strained relations between Zimbabwe and other countries across the world.
October 25 every year is Zimbabwe's Anti-Sanctions Day. The day highlights the disapproval of the continued economic sanctions on the country by the USA, EU and the UK, and calls for a collective action to petition the West to lift the targeted sanctions against them. A Zimbabwean living and working in Ghana speaks on the impacts of the sanctions on ordinary Zimbabweans.
If you go to Zimbabwe today, you go and see the poverty levels that are there. You go and see the business industries have been destroyed. We don't even have anything to say in Zimbabwe. They say they are targeted sanctions. But what are targeted sanctions when the sanctions are affecting the normal Zimbabweans?
Among other social shocks, it is believed that Zimbabwe has lost an estimated $21 billion in GDP in the past 20 years with the targeted sanctions.
Our people who are in the diaspora have sent money to Zimbabwe
to family and relatives. And some of that money has been either seized or confiscated by the West, because the West does not want to hear of anybody doing business in Zimbabwe. The sanctions have also impacted on our tourism sector. The West has issued adverse travel notices against Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, being a member of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we are failing to participate fully because our industries are stifled by the sanctions. Business is stifled by sanctions. Banks are affected by the sanctions.
The Southern African Development Community solidarizes with the people of Zimbabwe in their quest for sanctions to be lifted. They say it has impacted the broader SADC region, with Zimbabwe failing to meet agreed regional macroeconomic targets. The ECOWAS and the AU have all called for the immediate removal of sanctions on Zimbabwe. For GBC News, Shirley Annan reporting.
Now, with a dysfunctional science laboratory, students of the St. Paul's Lutheran School had been bused to Accra for their BEC science practicals. Today, they tell a different story. The school has now a refurbished integrated science laboratory for effective teaching and learning of science. The renovated science laboratory was handed over to the school by the Parent School Conference in Accra.
Excellence. This, the Parent School Conference, PSC, says prompted the refurbishment of the science laboratory to create a more conducive environment to learn science. Now students can combine classroom teaching